Welcome to the Databricks Skill Builder series. We're glad you're here.
Welcome. So you were probably wondering why you found this video, and I'm glad you did. Most likely you thought you deployed your Azure Databricks securely, but your Cloud Defender or another security scan identified public network access for your storage account, and you were flagged. So thanks for finding this video. And because you found the video, we're going to step you through the process of enabling your firewall support for your Azure Workspace storage account. I'm Scott Krasbowski, a Senior Specialist Solution Architect here at Databricks, and we're going to walk you through the process of enabling firewall support for your Azure Workspace storage account, so therefore your security team leaves you alone. So before we do that, a couple things I want to point out. By default, the Azure storage account for your workspace accepts authenticated connections from all networks, hence why you were flagged by some security scans such as Cloud Defender. So what we want to do is we want to limit access, and we're going to do that by enabling your firewall support. No more public network access. Before we jump into the mechanics of actually setting this all up, I want to go over a couple of prerequisites. So first, you have to have owner role or custom roles with similar permissions on the resource group where Databricks has been deployed. You must create a new Azure Databricks Access connector. You may see one in the Managed Resource group, but you can't use that one. I want to highlight that as we go. Your workspace must enable VNet injection, otherwise known as bring your own VNet. Your workspace must enable secure cluster connectivity, SCC, or no public IP. It has to be on the premium plan, and you have to have a separate subnet for your private endpoints for the storage account. So once you have all those prerequisites ready to go, we can walk through the steps. So to do that, I'm going to start over in the Azure portal. So I've logged into my Azure portal as someone who has permission on that resource group. I have a resource group here called Scott Grizz RG, and I have a workspace called Scott Grizz Docs Video. This is the workspace we're going to use to enable the workspace storage firewall. So let's jump in here. So if you notice on the Azure Databricks service, the overview page has a couple of pieces of information we're going to need later to enable this. The first one you'll notice is our resource group. You're going to need to know your subscription ID later, which we'll talk as we get through that. But what I want to highlight is this managed resource group. Now, before we jump into that, if you take a look at your networking option here on the left, number one, if the networking option is available, good, you probably have a VNet injected workspace. If it is grayed out, most likely it is a Databricks managed workspace and we cannot continue with this process. So verify that. So if we go to the networking option, just to highlight what we talked about in the prereqs, I do have SCC or no public IP enabled. And in my case, I am using what we call a backend private endpoint. No big concern for you here, but just know that's how mine is set up, and I'm allowing public network access. So yours may look similar. You may have this disabled or vice versa. The key is we have to have this one up here enabled. So let's go back to the overview page. Now, if you notice in the managed resource group, or I may call it MRG as we go through this, but let's jump into this managed resource group. Our managed resource group has our storage account. You also notice there's a managed identity here. As I pointed out in the prereqs, we cannot use this managed identity. We're going to have to create a new access connector. But I want to point out what you're seeing as your problem today. Let's open up the storage account. So if I go into my storage account and click on my networking option, this is our problem. As you see up here, as I'm highlighting my mouse, the public network access is enabled from all networks. So we've got to fix that, and that's what we're going to do as we step through this process. We're also going to create some private endpoints, and we're going to go through all these steps one by one. So I just want to highlight this is what's going on. We've got our public network access enabled, and we need to fix that. So we should look at our documentation just to verify what we're doing. So again, our documentation is here. I'm sure you've already found that. That's how you found this video. But let me step you through the process quickly. Step one is we're going to need to create some private endpoints to the storage account. This is going to be needed for what we would call your classic compute. Anything coming from your Databricks VNet is going to be accessing it via the private endpoints. So we're going to create it. I'm not going to go through all the steps in the docs, but I just want you to know this is what we're going to do on step one. So let's go back to our storage account. So if I click on our storage account like I did and also click networking, we want to go to our private endpoints. Now you notice I've already created one private endpoint here called blob. We're going to create another private endpoint for DFS. We need both of these private endpoints. So let's go ahead and do that. There's two gotchas in here that I want to point out. Number one is this right here. You notice the resource group that popped up? It picked our managed resource group. That will not work. We will get a deny error. So let's fix that. So let's choose the resource group where Databricks is deployed. And as I mentioned earlier, that is in Scott Grizz RG. I want to give this a name. I'm going to pick my Scott Grizz dash, we could just call this video dash DFS dash PE, private endpoint. Pick the same region. Makes sense, right? Going to put in that region. Next resource will be DFS, as we mentioned, and the virtual network. Again, find your virtual network where Databricks is deployed. In my case, it is this Scott Grizz Docs Video VNet. It should automatically find a subnet that's available for the private link. We can't use the two Databricks subnets that are there. It's already delegated to Databricks. So I chose my private link subnet, as I mentioned, the prereqs that has to exist. And I'm going to leave the defaults here for allocating IP addresses. For DNS, I'm going to leave it alone. Now, the first time you do this, it will pick the MRG again. This is a gotcha. You'll have to click the drop down and go choose your resource group where you have permissions. Again, the managed resource group, you do not have permissions. This is a common error. By default, Azure always chooses the managed resource group. Tags, we don't need any tags. Let's go ahead and do a review and create. And make sure it passes our validation. It did pass, and we'll go ahead and create this private endpoint. So while that private endpoint is deploying, we'll go take a look at our documentation again, just to do a quick review. So step one, we've created our two private endpoints. We've got to have our DFS and our blob as highlighted here, right? If we scroll down a little bit, right, these are all the steps that I just went through. I do want to point out step two. If you are using Power BI with a on-premise network gateway or a virtual network gateway, we highly recommend creating a private endpoint as well for the Cloud Fetch clients. So it's optional. It all depends on your configuration. I am not using that, so I'm going to skip step two. We do not need that. Step three, we're reminding you, hey, let's go ahead and confirm all of our endpoint approvals to make sure those private endpoints are there. If we come back to our Azure portal, let's see how that looks. Still in progress. So while that's still going, I'll pop over here to review the docs as we go. What we're also going to do for step four is we need to ensure our serverless compute connections have access before we do our final step. Now, I didn't mention in the prereqs, but if you have account admin permission in Databricks, great, but you may need an account administrator to go into the Databricks admin portal to verify that you have connectivity. So while that private endpoint is creating, let's come back over here and take a look. So I've logged into the accounts.azuredatabricks.net portal. The first thing I want to do is take a look at security, and I want to make sure I've got a network connectivity configuration combined. Now, our documentation explains how to create an NCC, what it means. We're not going to go through that. That's beyond the scope of this video, but I just want you to understand there should be an NCC created and assigned to that workspace. So I created one earlier called Scott Grizz West US. You can see it's a very simple NCC. I don't have any private endpoints, but what's important is that the workspace we are working with is assigned to that NCC. This is the important part of the verification. If you don't have an NCC assigned to the workspace, serverless is not going to have access to your storage account. Just highlight, or I wanted to point that out. So if you do have admin access, come in and check. If you do not, you may have to put a ticket in and have someone with account admin permission to go in and set up an NCC and assign it to your workspace. So we verified in our workspace, this is all configured. We are good to go. Let's go back to the Azure portal and see if our private endpoint is complete. It is complete. Let's go back to the resource. So I have my private endpoint. I am in this resource group. Let's go take a look actually at I want to go back to that storage account. So I'm going to go back to the service. I want to go back to that MRG, right? And I want to again highlight our storage account. And we're going to click on networking one more time and verify our two private endpoints exist. They are here. They were automatically approved because I have permission in the Azure portal to do that. Okay, so let's jump back to the docs. So we've gone through step one. Step two is optional. Step three, we've confirmed our endpoint approvals. And again, remember the tricky part of those endpoints is to make sure you don't, it automatically selects the managed resource group. Make sure you change that. We verify that we do have an NCC attached to my workspace, right, is this first step here, right? What we need to do now is actually run the command to enable the storage firewall support. You have an option to do it in Bash. You also have an option to do it in PowerShell. I will tell you I'm not a PowerShell expert, but this was a relatively simple one to do, so I am going to use PowerShell and highlight this particular block here, and we're going to do it through a Cloud Shell command. So to copy, you just click this, copy the code. You're going to, as I mentioned, you're going to need the workspace name, resource group, subscription ID, and then access connector that we're going to go create now or verify that's created. So just keep that in mind. We'll pop back here to verify everything's there. So I've already copied this over to another window that you can't see. But let's go take a look at this managed resource group. So again, if I come back into our service, choose my resource group, you can see, where's that access connector? Right here. I created an access connector called Scott Greer's Docs Video Access Connector. Again, naming is important because they are very hard to find these access connectors as they proliferate through your Azure subscription. I would highly recommend you create a good name here. So I created one. It's a system assigned managed identity. You also have the option to use a user assigned managed identity if needed. But the key is I have an access connector. We will need the resource ID for this. So if you click on your access connector, we are going to copy this resource ID here, as you see. Again, I've got this in another window, pasted it over there, and we're going to verify as well that it's created correctly. So let's go back to our resource group. To create one is relatively simple. If I were in my resource group and just hit create, you just go to the marketplace and just type access connector, right? I'm just saving time. We don't have to create a new one, right? But this is all you would do is just create a new access connector for Azure Databricks. And that's what I did earlier to save us time. So that's good. We have it all set up. So as I said, we are going to need your subscription ID, so copy that. We're going to need your resource group name, copy that. And right up here is your actual workspace name. Let's grab that, copy that. Okay. So I've got all the pieces to the puzzle. If we come back here, let's verify. Okay, yep, workspace name, we got that. Resource group name, got that. We have our subscription ID, I copied that. And we have our access connector ID, we did that. And again, this is a system assigned, but you notice down here we do have one if you're using a user assigned managed identity as a separate PowerShell. So in order to do this, I do have permission to run Cloud Shell. I understand some companies don't always allow that. So you may have to use the Bash option with the Azure CLI. So I'm going to run a command Cloud Shell option. Let's get it spun up. As I said, I already have the necessary command edited for my workspace. I'm going to go ahead and copy that and get it ready to go. Once I get my Cloud Shell terminal, we're going to run the command to actually do the enablement. Again, as we pointed out, you do need permissions to do this. You just can't be a user that doesn't have owner rights over this resource group. Okay, so I've got a Cloud Shell. If you notice down at the bottom, I'm going ahead and paste my command. It already has all of my values in there, as you notice, subscription ID, resource group, connector, etc. And I'm going to actually run this command. We are getting some warnings here that things are going to be deprecated in the near future. No worries here. The command is still running. We will update our, Azure PowerShell commandlet at some point to deal with all of these warnings. But for now, they're just warnings. So this is going to take at least, I'd say, 3 to 5 minutes to run. So with that, thanks to video editing, we now see that the command completed. We didn't have to wait the 3 to 5 minutes for that command to complete. But I did get a successful message saying that this was completed. Here's the name of the resource, the workspace that the command completed. So that's all we needed to do at the end of all these steps is to run that command. It will enable the default workspace storage. So let's go verify that. So again, in the Azure portal, I'm going to go ahead and close our PowerShell window, get some more real estate. So again, take a look. We're in our overview page of our workspace. I want to click on our managed resource group. And if I were to look at our blob storage again, click on that storage account, come down to our networking option, you now see it is no longer open to public access. It is enabled from select networks. This is key. So our default workspace storage account enablement command works successfully. And if I wanted to drill it, the other thing you want to notice is that we now have all of our virtual networks associated with your serverless region associated as well. So if I come in and manage, we'll take a quick look at what this all did. One, you can still see public access is enabled. That's not the important part. The key is it is enabled from selected networks. So we've associated the serverless region networks with that storage account. And you notice we now have identified or associated the access connector to access the storage account. So these are the key steps to get this all enabled. This will ensure your Cloud Defender or another security scan will not highlight this as public network access again. So we've successfully enabled our default workspace storage account, and notice that the serverless VNets were also associated, and also our access connector is associated with that, which grants permission for serverless and this access connector to get that storage account. So I want to thank you for watching, and please check out our Databricks documentation, which I know you already have. That's how you found our video. But again, if you need to find any other additional information, just take a look at our documentation.